Hi everyone, my name is Christina Granillo-Lewandowski with Nutrition 241 at Arizona State University. So for the video response, I wanted to kind of go over the metabolic response to starvation. I found it very fascinating because this is something that so many people struggle with all over the world, and I thought it was a timely topic to be discussing. So this information comes per the textbook that we use for class. And in the textbook it states that the body in a fed state allows for red blood cell creation, myelination of neurons, and a bunch of other crucial cellular functions the body needs to survive. However, starvation can happen for a number of reasons. It can be due to medical issues, even severe malabsorption if they're not getting the nutrients they need, for severely sick patients, anorexia, bulimia, and a whole other plethora of causes, including just low socioeconomic status or, food and poverty issues all over the world. All of these are possible reasons for starvation, and all of them would negatively impact one's metabolism. The brain, and specifically red blood cells, are the most glucose dependent. These are two key components to the body that absolutely cannot be without glucose, and they will always, always, always get the first priority when it comes to body allocation and glucose breakdown. So the first symptom that one would start to feel with starvation, generally the body will start to feel the effects. I would feel it, someone who's glucose sensitive, the first day, but the average is 2 to 3 days. One of the first things you'd feel is fatigue. You'd have a hard time staying warm. Your body's trying to get you to restrict your physical activity and really just try to be sedentary to preserve as much energy as possible, because your body isn't aware of the next time you're going to get the opportunity to consume food. So your fat would burn first, especially if you have extra padding. If you're an average healthy person, your fat reserves may not be as abundant as some others. And they burn first because it's easier to lose fat than it is to lose protein. They need to keep your body needs to keep proteins on board as long as possible to try to preserve the overall function of the body. And then it will pull from the protein storage. So when this happens, you're going to be seeing obvious symptoms, obviously more fatigue due to cellular function being impaired because they're going to be taking the extra proteins available there. You're going to be seeing hair and skin differences because it doesn't have enough proteins in reserve to regenerate what's needed for your skin and hair. And they're going to do that as long as possible. Your body will try to prolong the process and help you live, but the brain's needs for glucose will not stop. And the body will sacrifice nearly everything to get the brain what it needs. So primarily, the brain likes to use glucogenic amino acids, but it also can adopt to fueling primarily by ketones, which would happen as a result of a low-carb situation, like starvation. But then after it hits that point, there comes a point where it can't rely on that anymore. It needs more than that. So that's when you start seeing the muscular breakdown, the atrophy of muscle in the body, and then heart failure. Unfortunately, thousands of people with anorexia go through this over the years statistically, and it's a very real side effect to a very real problem. In average, the textbook states you could live an average healthy person with no underlying effects and no demanding circumstances surrounding them physically, meaning they would be allowed to be sedentary. They would survive for 1 to 3 months. And that all completely depends on the health profile, body fat, anything that could be related to their physical activity. That's what would cause variation. Obviously, if you're sicker, if you're thinner, it would be less time than that because you have less to burn. If you're more obese, they would project a longer time because you'd have more fat storage. It would have less impact on the body's reserves, and allow you more time to find a food source, any applicable food source. Thank you.